We are barely into the offseason, and the buzz around an all-star trade is already legitimate. And I'm not talking about some random blog post. The Ringer just stated, quote, "There is no star who is more likely to be traded this season than Lauri Markkanen." And ESPN's Zach Lowe added, quote, "After speaking with people around the league, I can't imagine a scenario where Lauri Markkanen is on the Jazz next year. What? Why would the Utah Jazz trade their only all-star? And which teams are secretly lining up, hoping to land him? Let's break it down. First, let's remember just how good Lauri is. During the last Eurobasket tournament, he dropped more points than anyone not named Luka Doncic. Back in the NBA, he exploded in his all-star season, dropping a career-high 25.6 points per game. The guy is a certified bucket, but that incredible talent is precisely where the problem begins for the Jazz. Ever since trading Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, Utah has been on an unapologetic mission to lose games. Last season, they were fined $100,000 for sitting Markkanen for no apparent reason. But we all know the reason. They want to tank. The problem is, their tanking strategy has been a spectacular failure. In 2023, they wanted Victor Wembanyama and dropped to the 9th pick. In 2024, they dropped the spots to 10th. And last year, after being the worst team by a mile, they were hoping for Cooper Flag, but fell from the potential number 1 pick all the way to 5th for Ace Bailey. So, this offseason, they've doubled down, swapping all of Lauri's veteran teammates Jordan Clarkson, John Collins, and Colin Sexton for even more young guys and picks. The message is crystal clear. We are not trying to win. But here's the crazy part. Lauri actually loves it in Utah. He's a nature guy, a perfect fit for the landscape. He even told ESPN, "They have showed their belief in me. From the ownership to the front office to Coach Will Hardy, I trust the organization." That trust is something he never got in Chicago, where the Bulls labeled him the future, then buried him at the first sign of trouble. In Utah, they treated him like a star, and he became one, winning Most Improved Player and making the All-Star team. So you have a team that desperately wants to lose, and a star player who is too good to let them, and who genuinely wants to be there. Nobody wants this trade to happen, but it feels like the only way out. So why is he such a hot commodity? Because Lauri would fit on almost any contender in the league. He's a 7-footer with solid defense who spaces the floor like an elite guard. He can finish inside, but his real weapon is his lethal spot-up shooting. He's the modern NBA dream. So, who wants him? Pretty much everybody. But one enormous problem shrinks that long list of suitors down to just a handful. And that issue is his contract. This season, Lauri is set to make $46.4 million, a number that rises all the way to $53.5 million by 2029. In the era of the new second apron and brutal luxury tax penalties, who can even afford to take on that kind of salary? And on top of that, who has the assets to give Utah in a trade? Let's put that contract into perspective. Other guys on that kind of deal include Kawhi Leonard, Zach LaVine, Evan Mobley, Jamal Murray, and Trae Young. These are all number 1 or number 2 options on their teams. Lauri has never even made a playoff game. Is he that good? We just don't know. That contract means he has to be your second best player because contenders can't afford to have their third option making near max money. So, with that massive contract in mind, let's look at the teams that can actually pull this off. Zach Lowe's full list included teams like the Heat, Rockets, and Warriors. But I think the combination of assets, salary, and a win-now timeline makes these 3 teams the most realistic threats. Team number 1, the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons are desperate for a legitimate co-star for Cade Cunningham. They need spacing, and Lauri's fit in a pick-and-roll with Cade is seamless. The money works. Detroit has only paid Cade, so they have the flexibility. The Ringer suggests a trade where the Jazz get Jaden Ivey, Tobias Harris, Bobby Clinton, and the first-round picks. In this deal, the Jazz get a high-upside 23-year-old in Ivey who fits their timeline perfectly, plus more draft capital. Team number 2, the Minnesota Timberwolves. This one is a long shot, but the fit is undeniable. Imagine Lauri stretching the floor, running pick-and-roll with Anthony Edwards, and needs another elite offensive star to take the pressure off. A complex 3-team deal could work. How about this? The Jazz get Julius Randle, Donnie DiVincenzo, Rob Dillingham, and the first-round picks from the Kings. The Wolves get Lauri Markkanen and Malik Monk. The Kings get Jaden McDaniels and a pick swap from the Wolves. In this scenario, The Jazz could flip Randle for even more assets, the Wolves get their second star, and the Kings get the elite defender they desperately need. Everybody wins. Team number 3, the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs have a problem. They have Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox, but they are capped without elite shooting around them. Lauri Markkanen is exactly what they need, a floor spacer with on and off-ball movement. And since they haven't paid Wemby his max extension yet, the money works. A potential trade could be the Spurs get Lauri Markkanen, the Jazz get Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes, and Dylan Harper. For Utah, Dylan Harper is arguably the best young player offered in any of these deals. The Spurs might want to wait for a bigger star like Giannis, but the fit with Lauri is too perfect to ignore. But there is one final thing that could kill all of these deals, something that the Ringer and Zach Lowe didn't even mention. The Utah Jazz front office is led by Danny Ainge. Ainge is known as one of the toughest and most ruthless negotiators in the NBA. He rarely budges from his asking price, which is always astronomically high. This is the same guy who turned Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell into a treasure chest of picks and players that rebuilt the entire franchise. If teams want Lauri, they better come with an all-in offer. Otherwise, Ainge will simply hang up and walk away. So, something has to give in Utah. They have a star who has turned the corner, but they still want a tank. They can't just sit him without getting fined again. But his max-level contract makes a trade incredibly complicated in this new second apron era. For any contender thinking about trading for Markkanen, it's not just about matching salaries. It is about being ready to live with the consequences of losing flexibility and being handcuffed on future roster moves. So, where do you think Lauri Markkanen ends up? Is there a trade package I missed? Let me know your best ideas in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more NBA analysis all season long. Thanks for watching.